Notre Dame's dream season now enters its final act, the college football playoff. The Irish arrive undefeated, unblemished, but far from unquestioned.
Doubted and even discredited.
Come on, man! Let's go!
I feel like we've heard that narrative for a few weeks now, and everyone's wanted to count us out.
A major underdog.
I think anyone really cares too much what Vegas has to say about us.
Fueled by the slight.
There's always doubters, and there's always a lot of people who hate Notre Dame, and that's just how it's going to be.
That hate born out of the fact that chasing titles has long been in Notre Dame's DNA. Now the Irish return to a game where they found some of that gold.
Rich cotton memories woven into the fabric of the program, with high hopes of adding to that tapestry.
We're going to be ready to go out there and show the world what we're all about.
So with the eyes of the sports world on them, what will the Irish prove to all those watching? Can they beat a team in its fourth straight playoff, the Clemson Tigers?
Or will the ND naysayers be proven right? The hours are ticking down until we find out.
Live from North Texas and the WNDU studios, this is a special Cotton Bowl Clash edition of New Center 16's Countdown to Kickoff.
Fighting Irish fans decked out in blue, gold, and a whole lot of green have descended on Dallas, where tonight their pride is overflowing as they live it up at the official Notre Dame Goodyear Cotton Bowl party in Big D.
And you are looking live at AT&T Stadium, the calm before the storm in Arlington. Tomorrow, Jerry's World will be abuzz as the number 2 Clemson Tigers face number 3 Notre Dame in the Cotton Bowl with a trip to the national title game on the line.
Good evening and welcome to this special college football playoff edition of New Center 16's Countdown to Kickoff. I'm Terry McFadden.
And I'm WHME Sports Director Chuck Freeby. Let's bring in the countdowns. Alex Wilson at official ND party in Dallas.
And Alex, the excitement is building in North Texas while the biggest story continues to be about a man who won't be playing tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right, Terry. And that, of course, would be Clemson star defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence. The news broke on Christmas Eve that Dexter Lawrence and 2 of his teammates had tested positive for a performance-enhancing substance called ostarine. We waited for the results of the B sample to make it official. Those results came back last night, and the B sample also tested positive, meaning that Lawrence and 2 of his teammates will not be playing in tomorrow's game. Clemson has been preparing without Dexter Lawrence. He hasn't practiced with the team all week. Still, though, he's one of the Tigers' best players, a likely first-round NFL draft pick, and his loss will certainly be felt on Clemson's stout defense. Head coach Dabo Swinney says he's upset for Lawrence, but now it's time for someone else to step in.
Well, he was obviously disappointed. All 3 of those guys were disappointed, but not surprised. You know, I mean, it's not like it was a different test. It was the same urine. Sorry about that, but that's what it was. Different tube, same urine. The test was, the same. I don't think anybody was real surprised by that. So disappointed, but, we prepared for that the whole way, or at least since Monday. And our guys are ready to go. But Albert Huggins is a great football player. And, you just got to treat it like an injury. I mean, next guy's got to go play. I mean, they're not going to cancel the game. Nobody's going to sit around and have a pity party or feel sorry for you. You got to go play.
And you heard Swinney mention Albert Huggins. Him and defensive tackle Niles Pinckney will be the ones tasked with filling Lawrence's role up the middle. And now, Chuck, while Lawrence is out, that doesn't change the way that a lot of people think tomorrow's game is going to go.
It hasn't, Alex. The Notre Dame Doubters have been there since November in the weeks leading up to the college football playoff selection show, and they're still here now. Wherever you look, the Irish are a double-digit underdog for tomorrow's Cotton Bowl matchup with Clemson. Notre Dame's players are well aware of that national consensus, and it has been a motivating factor for them all month long, since the moments right after they got their playoff bid.
I don't think anyone really cares too much what Vegas has to say about us. A lot of people are putting it in our ear all the time. But I think this team is pretty intrinsically motivated, to be honest. I think that everyone wants it maximum as bad as they can without anyone saying you can't do it. So maybe someone saying that or the underdog mentality thing is a little extra, but I think to begin with, this team is pretty fired up.
Now, the underdog role is a new one for these Irish. With a sterling record of 22-3 over the last 2 seasons, they've been the favorites sometimes by double digits themselves most weeks. But Terry, what the Irish have been able to do in 2017 and 2018 sure seemed like a dream 2 years ago as Notre Dame suffered one of its worst seasons ever.
Miserable, Chuck. 4-8 in 2016 had everyone around Notre Dame football questioning the actual future of the program. It was clear that big changes had to be made, and Brian Kelly made those moves to put the Irish where they are tonight. The Irish revamped their strength and conditioning program under Coach Matt Bayless. Changes were made on both sides of the ball as well, with offensive coordinator Chip Long taking over the defense, first run by Mike Elko, and now Clark Lee becoming the dominant group that we now know. There is a lot of pride in how the changes have all come together, from the players to Kelly's boss, athletic director Jack Swarbrick.
There's a consistency to it now. There's a culture to it that is self-sustaining. And you'll always have ups and downs, but this is the best foundation in my 11 years. The platform from which we go into postseason and next year is as strong as it's ever been.
I think it's the players on this team. Last year, I thought we had a great team, but we didn't have this team. I think everybody's truly committed, dedicated to this team, and we got a group of guys that are going to do whatever it takes to win.
Now, while Notre Dame limped through a 4-8 2016 season to force the changes that got them to this Cotton Bowl, tomorrow's opponent was already on top of the college football world at that point. Let's head back to Alex, who's in Dallas, of course, for a look at the powerhouse Clemson Tigers. Alex?
Yeah, Terry, Clemson actually won the national championship in 2016 when Notre Dame was struggling to that 4-8 finish. And for the Tigers, this is their 4th straight trip to the college football playoff. Clemson is an astounding 50-4 since beating the Irish 24-22 in a hard-fought, water-soaked game in Death Valley back in 2015. The program that once had a reputation for blowing big games and finishing below expectations, giving rise to the phrase Clemsoning, is now one of the 2 most respected in the land. The Tigers players know they're in the middle of something special.
It's humbling, really, and I'm just so grateful to be in this position. Everything I envisioned as even a young guy, as a recruit, is kind of coming into fruition, as a player for me here in college.
The joy we have for the game, week in and week out, the appreciation we have for the game, just not taking the little things for granted, and just appreciating each other.
Now, it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows for every member of the Clemson team. Like Notre Dame, Clemson also made a quarterback change midseason that has propelled them to where they are. Let's send things back to Chuck in the studio for a look at how that situation actually differed from Notre Dame's. Chuck?
Well, let's start with the guys who were replaced. Former Clemson quarterback Kelly Bryant, who started in the college football playoff last year, he lost his job 4 games into the season and left the team. He's transferring to Missouri. That happened within a week of Notre Dame's quarterback change, but Brandon Wimbush stuck around for the Irish. He even spelled an injured Ian Book and led Notre Dame to a win over Florida State, and he's available if needed in Dallas. One thing that is the same for both teams is that the change has worked. Clemson's true freshman starter, Trevor Lawrence, is playing well beyond his years, leading the Tigers to 9 straight wins.
Yeah, it's been surreal, and it's just, it's been a whirlwind. Just everything's happened so fast, and kind of just looking back, it's like, where did the time go? But it's been awesome. Just blessed. Been blessed beyond measure just to be at this point, and to be in this situation.
Blessed he is. Lawrence has more than 2,600 yards passing, 24 touchdowns this year. He has only thrown 4 interceptions. But Terry, we know that he is not the only quarterback in this game with some gaudy numbers. Ian Book has put on quite a performance since taking over full-time against Wake Forest.
Yeah, Chuck, all he's done since he's been in there is complete more than 70% of his passes and tossed 19 TDs. He's also rushed for 250 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground to his credit. Most importantly, though, the Irish QB has never lost a start, including a game against North Carolina back in 2017. Simply put, the Irish offense has clicked into high gear with Ian Book at the helm, and he's just thankful to be running the show.
I step back sometimes and kind of just, look back on the past a little bit and just, see how fast it's gone by, and then just realize, how fortunate I am to be in this spot, and, just how crazy everything's gone, and, just, where we are and how close we are to our end goal that we talk about every day.
One more stat to keep in mind as Book and his teammates chase that goal tomorrow. The Irish QB has thrown for at least 2 touchdowns in each of his 8 starts this season.
Here it is, the eve of the college football playoff, but that does not mean the debate over how to decide the sports national champion each season has slowed down, and that is the topic of tonight's Lock Money Auto Group Irish fan poll on WNDU.com.
Yeah, we're asking you how many teams should be in the college football playoff, and right now, 8% of you like the model with 2 teams. All right, 25% would keep it at 4, 11% like 6, and those of you who want to double the field to 8 are at 47%. And 9% say, hey, let's go big with more than 9. There's still time to vote in the Lock Monday Auto Group Irish fan poll on WNDU.com, and we'll have the final results in about 40 minutes.
And we're just getting rolling tonight on this special playoff edition of the Countdown.
Up next, we'll check the pulse of Irish Nation as we head back to the official Notre Dame Cotton Bowl party and chat with the fans.
And here's your first Subway trivia test. When was the last time Notre Dame won one of the 6 major bowl games, and who did the Irish beat? The answer when this special edition of the Countdown rolls back in 2 minutes.
Here's today's Subway Eat Fresh trivia answer.
It has been almost 25 years since Notre Dame last won a major bowl game. You have to go back to January 1st, 1994, when the Irish took on Texas A&M for the second straight season in the Cotton Bowl. The Aggies gave Lou's lads quite a fight on that sunny day in Dallas, but Notre Dame eked out a 24-21 win, finishing the season 11-1.
Back on the countdown, where Notre Dame has now returned to the Cotton Bowl for the first time in a quarter century.
And they are throwing quite the party to celebrate tonight in North Texas. Maria Catanzarite also aboard the countdown train from that party in Big D.
And Maria, you've spent most of the day with Irish fans.
Oh yeah, Terry and Chuck, I started from the morning, here in the evening. They're getting hype, prepare for tomorrow's clash against Clemson, and there is so much to do here at the ballroom inside of the convention center in the Big D. Like you said, it is a country western theme, which of course calls for a mechanical bowl. There is a Papa Green life-size Jenga Connect Four, good food, great drinks, plus live entertainment, which is a cause for celebration for one fan from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
You know, it's pretty awesome. It means a lot to me to be here with my husband, my brother, my dad, my cousins, to celebrate my 45th birthday with the people I love, and to be here to experience all this is incredible.
And you bet these fans are going to be celebrating all night long, and coming up in 20 minutes, Chicago takes the stage.
All right, Maria, we look forward to it.
All right, and we're just about a quarter of the way through the countdown tonight, and we have so much more to share with you.
Up next, Notre Dame's offense looks nothing like that sputtering unit it was earlier in the season. So how have they done it? How do they keep it going tomorrow? We'll take a look when the countdown returns in 2 minutes.
And we're back on the countdown with a closer look at what the Irish offense did this season to push their way to the playoff.
The countdown's Mark Skoll Jr. is at AT&T Stadium tonight, just in case the game starts early. And Mark, it's safe to say this is far from the Irish offense we saw to start the season.
Most definitely, Chuck. The Irish offense the first 3 weeks of the season did not go as planned. Brian Kelly then made a decision that quickly turned into a Notre Dame offensive explosion.
And here come the Irish.
After week 3's shaky offensive performance against Vanderbilt, Brian Kelly knew there was plenty of room for growth.
We're still evolving. I mean, I'd like to say we're a finished product. We're just not. If you're a finished product after Game 3, you're destined for greatness, and we're not there yet.
And to achieve greatness, Kelly made a move that very next week that would alter Notre Dame's season. Kelly named Ian Book the starting quarterback, a move that has certainly paid off.
It's gone by so fast when you think about it and kind of take a step back and, see how far we've come.
Since Book has taken over the offense, the Irish have averaged 36 points per game.
Touchdown, Notre Dame!
But it hasn't just been Book. It's been a team effort.
It's a bunch of young guys who've been able to step up throughout the year. Just all the youth and seeing those guys grow, seeing them work week in and week out has been a lot of fun.
One unit that has stepped up has been the wide receiver corps.
And it is caught! Touchdown, Notre Dame!
In the first 3 weeks, the group tallied only one touchdown reception. They found the end zone 13 times since the quarterback change.
I think we're more of a whole. Obviously Chase has really come on, Fink's really come on, and now when you look at us, you can say, we have 3 really good receivers out there.
But like Kelly said after the Vanderbilt game, the Irish aren't looking to just be good.
End zone! Touchdown, Notre Dame!
They are striving for greatness.
We're not where we want to be right now. I know we're 12-0. I know we have done a lot of things, but we still have we're still on this journey, and we still have a lot of things to accomplish. So as of right now, we're happy being 12-0, but at the same time, it's more that we want.
Of course, the Irish want to play in the national championship, and they can do that with a win here at AT&T Stadium tomorrow against Clemson. The Notre Dame football players say winning the Cotton Bowl is just one of the steps they have to take to achieve that goal. Guys, back to you in studio.
All right, Mark, thank you very much.
And there's a lot more of the countdown coming your way. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back. Well, let's just say some Notre Dame fans were born for tomorrow's rematch. The Countdown's Lindsey Stone is here in the studio with a look at one Fighting Irish fan who's been waiting his whole life for tomorrow's big game. Lindsey?
The last time Notre Dame and Clemson met, it didn't leave such a good aftertaste for the Fighting Irish. Irish fans have had December 29th circled on their calendars since the moment they heard who Notre Dame would be facing in their first college playoff appearance. But one Irish fan has been waiting for another Notre Dame-Clemson rematch since the day he was born. Notre Dame fans come in all shapes and sizes, and some have been waiting a lifetime for tomorrow's big matchup. It all began in 2015, the last time these two teams met.
At the time, it's such a huge game, Notre Dame versus Clemson. Two teams having really good seasons. So we thought oh no, is it going to be another Saturday? Are we going to be watching the Irish again in the hospital? And we did.
Jack made his grand entrance into the world just hours before Notre Dame took the field.
This guy here was born probably around 4 a.m. We drove through a rainstorm to get to the hospital in time, listening to the game on the radio all the way in, kind of sneaking some peeks in the hospital TV.
Notre Dame ultimately fell to Clemson, but Dan got quite the consolation prize. For this Irish-loving family, their fanhood runs deep.
My grandfather was a huge Notre Dame fan, and from that, my dad and me, and now these two, so it's a long line.
Just seeing his enthusiasm has obviously trickled down, and now we go Irish every Saturday.
And Jack wasn't the first child to disrupt Dan's beloved Irish Saturdays.
Our daughter Ainsley was born on a Saturday in September when Notre Dame played Michigan.
Notre Dame babies.
Yeah, both kids were born on Notre Dame Saturdays. These guys, you'll hear them on the monitor in their bedroom humming the alma mater or the fight song. They hear it enough that they'll sing themselves to sleep or wake up to it. Might be a bit much, but it's pretty cute.
Game days are even more special around the Repture household, and tomorrow's rematch has been long awaited.
It's that same kind of feeling again where the defense is playing great. The offense with Ian Book, they just have that passing attack. That feeling that they're going to win every week is back.
No matter how you become a Fighting Irish fan, one thing is certain. Notre Dame fans are fans for life. No matter the highs or the lows. Tomorrow isn't about the luck of the Irish. It's about remembering what you're playing for and who is cheering you on. The rematch of a lifetime for little Jack, and Notre Dame is playing for revenge tomorrow, and they'll definitely have a lot of fans cheering them on, including Jack and his family. What a sweet story.
And there will be no distractions because nobody's expecting.
No one's expecting, so hopefully nothing too crazy will happen.
All right, Lindsay, thanks.
We are now halfway home on the countdown. The Irish defense, a major reason why Notre Dame, one of the 4 teams that made the college football playoff. I will look at how they've become so dominant. Plus, as you watch tomorrow, what is Clemson's biggest strength to keep an eye on? We break that down and much more with Tim O'Malley in our Irish Illustrated report. And you can subscribe to Irish Illustrated. It is the #1 source for Notre Dame sports online. Just head to irishillustrated.com, click on join, and find the best plan for you.
Welcome back. The official party for Irish fans continues in Dallas.
Let's head back to the countdown to Alex Wilcox, who is at the party and joined by one of the many guests there to cheer on the Irish. Alex?
Yeah, that's right, Chuck. I'm joined here by Ryan Harris, of course, a man who needs no introduction, a 4-year starter for Notre Dame along the offensive line, a Super Bowl champion, and one of the newest members of the radio voice of the Fighting Irish. So, Ryan, of course, your assignment tomorrow is not playing, but is calling the game on the radio. How exciting is it for you to get to call a Notre Dame playoff?
It's the best. I get to do what I'll be doing anyways when Notre Dame's playing, watching the game, but I get to educate people about what it's like to be a student athlete at Notre Dame. We're such a unique breed. We choose to go beyond, and it's so much fun telling the intricate stories. Like when you play Navy, you hear things like great tackle, good job, things like that. So taking people and Notre Dame faithful into what it's like on the field is so much fun for me.
Now, being an offensive lineman, the big news this week was that star defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence will not play because of a failed drug test. Knowing that he's out, does that change your perspective as an offensive lineman? Does that make you more confident knowing that you don't have to go up against a guy like Dexter Lawrence?
Well, you're relieved, right, for some of the guys. Sam Musser says, I'll believe it when he doesn't show up in pads on Saturday. So already they're preparing for that, which shows you the type of mindset this team has. They're ready, and they want that tough challenge. And that's the big key for a team like that. That was a key for us winning the Super Bowl. We wanted the challenges, and this Notre Dame team wants each and every challenge. And I bet you there's some guys on that offensive line who wish Lawrence was still playing so they could still go against the best and not have that be a side issue.
You mentioned that you played in the Super Bowl. You got the giant ring to prove it. So you've clearly played in some big games. Notre Dame is playing a very big game tomorrow night. As a player, what's going through their minds right now, the night before one of the biggest games they've ever played in?
That's a great question, Alex. Everything's going through their mind, their self-doubt, their belief. That's why visualization is so big. But the biggest thing you can do as a player is do nothing different than what got you there. And multiple players on the Irish talked about this week. Hey, what we did was good enough to get here, so we're going to stay with our routine, stay with our preparation, keep those traits Coach Kelly talked about, and go out and win a football game.
All right, Leslie, we're not going to ask you for a prediction since I know you're calling the game. What's going to be the key to the game?
Physicality on defense for the Irish, and offensively getting big chunks of yards against that secondary, which is the weakest part of Clemson's defense.
All right, Ryan Harris, thanks so much for joining us on the countdown. We will be back in 2 minutes.
Head coach Dabo Swinney and his Tigers are making this a yearly habit. #2 Clemson is in the college football playoff for the 4th straight season, and the 2016 national champs are looking to add to that already impressive trophy case.
While Brian Kelly and his crew make their first ever pilgrimage to college football's new promised land. But of course, #3 Notre Dame has a huge legacy to live up to as well, and now they're ready for this first step in the quest for a 12th title banner. Back inside this special edition of the Countdown alongside WHME Sports Director Chuck Freeby, I'm Terry McFadden.
Terry, ever since you and I were kids, and that was a while ago, we've heard the phrase defense wins championships. Now, we don't know if that's true yet for the 2018 Irish, but it certainly is what got them in championship contention. From game one, it has been the chip on Notre Dame's shoulder.
We played Michigan. It was Michigan's great defensive line. We played Syracuse. Syracuse had some great players. Last year, NC State's defensive line was going to come in here and steal the show. But, the story's always different after the game.
Indeed, the Irish defense has emerged as one of the most dominant in college football this season, holding opponents to 17 points per game. It all starts up front.
There's a lot of pride taken in what we're doing on our side of the ball. And so, nobody in our group wants to be outshined by anybody. And so we tout ourselves and we break down every day of being the best defensive line in the country. We can't just say it. We got to go out and do it.
The test becomes tougher against a Clemson team averaging 7 yards a rush, and there are no secrets to the Irish game plan.
First, you got to stop the run. Wake Forest did a great job of stopping the run early in the first half. And then, Travis broke a long one, I think, for 50, 60 yards, and it was kind of opened the floodgates from there. You got to stop the run in order to beat this team. And then we got to be able to tackle on the perimeter. And we got to get pressure on Trevor, right? He's a dynamic guy, but he's young. And we've got to be tight in coverage, got to get pressure on him and make him go through his progression, get to his second, third, and read. And I think when we do that and make him clutch the ball, we'll be able to get that pressure and force him to make errant throws.
In 2012, Notre Dame relied on defense only to get blasted for 21 points in the first 15 minutes of the championship game by Alabama. But this is a different Irish team, and they say their time has come.
And I'm going to be ready. The whole team is going to be ready. We're going to be ready to go out there and show the world what we're all about.
The last time I broadcast a Notre Dame-Clemson game, the Tigers scored 21. And that was baseball. The Irish defense would be thrilled if they could hold these Tigers to 21 tomorrow night, because no one has done it since week 2. Now let's head back to Dallas. The Countdown's Alex Wilcox, still at that official Notre Dame Cotton Bowl party, and joined by yet another guest.
That's right, Chuck. We've got guests of all sorts. We just had Ryan Harris, and now we're joined, as always, as we do for every game, with Irish Illustrated analyst Tim O'Malley. Now, Tim, we've had you on for every game. I want to take you back to September 1st against Michigan, when we had you on before that game, before all of this craziness started. Before this season started, did you ever think Notre Dame had a shot to do what they did this season?
No, and I even thought Ian Book would end up being the quarterback, but not like this type of quarterback. I thought it would be, because you kind of had to go to him. As it turns out, it just strengthened the team, and I really think Ian Book is, along with a great defense, the reason they're here right now.
Absolutely. Now they're facing a very good Clemson team, elite on offense, elite on defense. It's tough to pinpoint one thing that is better than any of the other things that they do so well, but if you had to, what's their greatest strength?
I think honestly it's their balance offensively, because you think of their quarterback. He might be the #1 overall prospect in the draft for all of college football, but he's a true freshman.
As a freshman.
But their running game is what makes them tick. Their lead running back has about 1,400 yards. His backups have more yards than he has. They just come at you in waves, and of course their rush defense is #1 in the country.
Of course, that rush defense may take a little bit of a hit with Dexter Lawrence out because of the failed drug test. What impact does that have on this game?
I think it's important in short yardage, because on 3rd and 2, you don't really want to run with Dexter Lawrence in there. And Sam Mustipher, one of Notre Dame's best players, was at a disadvantage against Lawrence. I don't think he will be now. Now they have future pros backing him up, but that's different than basically a current pro in Dexter Lawrence.
Notre Dame is the big underdogs in this game. What do the Irish have to do to win?
Well, obviously Ian Book has to have a great day, but #1, I think, on 3rd down, Notre Dame has to get to Trevor Lawrence, pressure him, and get them off the field, because you're not going to shut them down. You can't rush the passer all game when you have to stop the run first, but there's those obvious passing situations on 3rd down. You got to get to Lawrence, get them off the field.
All right, we ask you this every week. What's your game prediction?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I really think they're fairly evenly matched teams. I think Clemson's differentiator is they also have the best red zone defense in the country. Notre Dame has not been quite as good offensively in the red zone. My tagline is too many field goals. I feel like they're going to hold Notre Dame to a few field goals and win in the 28, 27, 23 range. Wow. I think Notre Dame is going to play a very good game, though.
Okay, I think this is the first time you've picked against Notre Dame this season. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Tim O'Malley, thank you so much, as always, for joining us. And you can join Irish Illustrated, your #1 source for Notre Dame sports online. Just head to irishillustrated.com and click on Join to find the best plan for you.
And there is much more to come tonight on the Countdown.
Up next, we catch up with some of the Irish stars on the eve of this Cotton Bowl for some quick hits. You'll hear from the law firm of Tranquil, Williams, Coney & Love.
And time for another Subway trivia question. Notre Dame has only beaten Clemson once. When did that happen, and who rushed for 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns to put the Irish on top? The answer when the Countdown continues in 2 minutes.
Here's today's Subway Eat Fresh trivia answer.
Notre Dame's only win in 3 tries against Clemson came on November 12, 1977 in Death Valley. The Irish trailed 17-7 entering the fourth quarter. Quarterback Joe Montana, you may have heard of him, scored on a 1-yard keeper on the first play out of the break. And he had another 1-yard TD run later in the quarter, enough to give the Irish the 21-17 win over the Tigers. And time now for quick hits on the countdown.
We bring back in Alex, Lindsay, and Mark. You add up their ages, almost the same as Max, as we hear from some of the stars of the 12-0 Irish.
Lindsay gets us rolling with Irish captain Drew Tranquil.
There aren't many players like Drew Tranquil. He's a captain, star linebacker, and leader for this Fighting Irish team. And he knows going into tomorrow's game that the Fighting Irish are considered the underdog. It's no secret many have questioned whether the Irish can truly compete with an ACC powerhouse like Clemson. It's a fact that's kept Tranquil laser focused in preparation. But he says being the underdog isn't scaring this Fighting Irish team, but instead giving them an advantage.
I feel like we've heard that narrative for a few weeks now, and everyone's wanted to count us out, so that doesn't really mean that much to us. I mean, we know what we have here, and we're excited to go put that on display, and we think we're unique, and we think we're a really balanced team that deserves to be in the top 4 and deserves that shot, and so got a great opponent in Clemson, and we'll have to handle business.
It has already been quite the year for Drew. After marrying his high school sweetheart Jackie in July, they announced they're expecting their first child in May. He and the rest of the Fighting Irish are hoping to cap their year off with a victory over Clemson. Now with a look at another man who plays a big role in that goal, let's go back to Mark Scholl Jr. at AT&T Stadium. Mark?
Thank you, Lindsay. Perhaps the biggest spark for the Irish offense, besides Ian Book, has been running back Dexter Williams. On Williams' first snap of this season, he took it all the way to the house, scoring on a 45-yard touchdown run against Stanford. And Williams hasn't slowed down since. He's scored 13 touchdowns this year and rushed for an average of 117 yards per game in only 8 games. But Williams says he's only scratching the surface of his potential.
I definitely feel like I have grown, but it's still a lot of improvement that I need to work on. Each and every day I just want to improve and just get better, and also just try to take each and every day, day by day. I know I'm not where I want to be, but at the same time, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm just trying to improve in all phases. Each and every way I can just improve my game, just reading defenses a lot better, just knowing the game of football, just being a student of the game.
And Williams will have his biggest test of the season here tomorrow against a nasty Clemson defense. But Notre Dame also has a pretty good defense. For more on one of the Irish defense's big-time players, I'll send it to you, Chuck.
That man you speak of, and he is a man, is senior linebacker Tavon Coney, Notre Dame's Defensive Player of the Year. The third-team AP All-American led the Irish in tackles for the second straight season with 107 stops, and the numbers prove his place as a menacing force. He helped catapult the Irish defense all season long. Number 4 had 3.5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, and an interception to fill out the stat sheet. Now he gets a huge stage to show off on, and Coney couldn't be happier.
Personally, I just want to show the world, my skill time. I feel like I have more out there to show. I want to be able to show that I'm the best linebacker in the country. That's what I truly believe, and I truly believe that we have the best defense in the country. I have a lot of guys around me who helps me get better, who challenge me to get better, and I just want Saturday to come where we all put it together and go out there and have a great game.
Now, Coney and his defensive brothers in arms are just a few hours away from that wish. For a look at one of the other huge stars the Irish D is counting on, let's head back to Alex in Dallas.
Yeah, Chuck, and we're talking about Irish cornerback Julian Love, who may just be the best player on a very good Irish defense. Love was named to a slew of first-team All-America lists. He was also a finalist for the Jim Thorpe Award for the nation's top defensive back. He's Notre Dame's career leader in passes broken up, with 15 coming just this season. Now, he's just a day away from playing in the biggest game of his life.
I'm so excited. This is a great opportunity. We're having fun this week, and we've been getting after these past couple practices, and that's what you want to see. You want to see the competitiveness kind of getting back. Everybody getting loose, and most importantly, we're going to have fun Saturday, and that's what's going to lead us to be successful.
Now, I asked Julian at Media Day yesterday if he thinks he can bait true freshman quarterback Trevor Lawrence into making some mistakes and maybe tossing him a pick or two, and he didn't shy away at all. He said yes, that attacking mindset, that aggressive play in the secondary is exactly going to be a part of Notre Dame's game plan against Clemson tomorrow. Now, many Irish fans are also curious about Julian's future with the Irish beyond tomorrow. He's a junior, but is eligible for the NFL draft. He put in for a grade and received a second-round grade from the draft advisory board, but he says that he hasn't made a decision yet as to whether he will leave school early or return for his senior season. Of course, Terry, Irish fans definitely want number 27 back in the secondary next year.
Yeah, they would certainly love to have him back. All right, Alex, thank you very much. We're now in the fourth quarter of the countdown. Up next, we hear from you with the final results of tonight's Lock Monday Auto Group Irish fan poll. Then we head back to the official Notre Dame Cotton Bowl party to check in on more of the fun and festivities when the countdown returns in 2 minutes. And here are the final results of tonight's Lock Monday Auto Group Irish fan poll on WNDU.com. Now, we asked you how many teams should be in the college football playoff. 7% want just 2, 25% like the current amount, 4, 11% say 6, 48% of you want the field doubled to 8, and 9% say more than 8. Thank you for voting in the Lock Monday Auto Group Irish fan poll on WNDU.com, and we'll have another question for you on tomorrow's countdown. Official Notre Dame Cotton Bowl party still going strong as Irish fans are partying in downtown Dallas. The countdown's Alex Wilcox is standing by live with one of my all-time favorite Irish legends. Alex?
That's right, Terry. We are joined by a piece of Irish history right here, former quarterback Joe Theismann. And Joe, speaking of history, you've got quite the history yourself in the Cotton Bowl, which of course Notre Dame is playing in tomorrow. Lost it in 1970, but came back and won it the very next year in 1971. Just what are some of your memories of playing here in Dallas?
Just wonderful memories. Playing in the Cotton Bowl. A lot of the memories I have also are even before the game started. You know, staying away in the hotel, getting ready. Very similar to what we did at the University of Notre Dame, to stay across the lake. Mm-hmm. Everybody was partying. We were stuck in a room across the lake. It was similar when we came down here to Dallas. As a matter of fact, when we made the decision to come to the Cotton Bowl, Era had a committee. He had sophomores, juniors, and seniors because those were the ones who wanted to play. And he let us basically decide what we wanted to do. And you had to stay within a 50-mile perimeter, or I should say distance, of a straight line between South Bend and Dallas. So we wound up staying in a hotel, and it was a wonderful experience the first time. I was thinking about it today. I was with a guy who was bringing me in, and we were talking about Cotton Spire and James Street, the two guys that basically hooked up. I think they probably threw 3 passes all year. One of them was in the Cotton Bowl that set up the victory for them. But then the second year was just an unbelievable experience. We really thought we had a shot at the national championship coming back down here to play Texas again, and that's why we came. You know, we came here to try and win a championship. That's the similarity, I think, with this Notre Dame football team here in Dallas. They've come here to set themselves up for an opportunity to win a national championship.
As a quarterback for Notre Dame, you've been in this stage before playing in the Cotton Bowl. How impressed have you been with current Notre Dame quarterback Ian Book and what he's been able to do coming in midway through the season and now leading the team to the college football?
Well, I think, first of all, first you have to talk about Brandon Wimbush.
Yeah.
You know, Brandon was asked to step down and take a secondary role, been a real class act. Came in when Ian got hurt, did the job he needed to keep us undefeated. So you have to talk about what he's been able to do. But Ian he gets the ball out of his hands quick. I love talking to him. I love visiting with him. I love being around him. I love learning what he wants to be able to accomplish. Like I say, he throws the ball well, has a lot more mobility than people really give him credit for. And I think his legs are going to be important in the Cotton Bowl tomorrow for us to have an opportunity to win the football game. Bottom line really is, what are our 5 guys up front going to be able to do to what their pass rush wants to do? I think that's the key to the football game. But and it'll give Ian a chance to be able to get the ball out of his hands. And Chip Long, our offensive coordinator, he loves to move things fast. Yeah. I mean, there's no such thing as taking time off the clock in a Chip Long offense.
All right, Irish quarterback Joe Theismann, thank you so much for joining us. We will be right back after this.
Back on the countdown where everything is bigger in Texas, and that includes the stage Notre Dame is about to step onto at the Cotton Bowl.
Let's bring back in Alex Wilcox from Dallas. And Alex, the Irish are well aware of this major moment they're about to have with the world watching.
Yeah, they sure are, Chuck, but I gotta say, when talking with the team and talking with Coach Kelly, they don't seem fazed by it at all. In fact, they're tired of hearing about how big a moment it is, as if they can't handle it. They say they've been playing on big stages all season, and this is just another of those where they expect to get the win.
It began on an iconic stage.
Looking deep, Chris Fink down there. Fink, did he catch it? Yes! Touchdown Irish!
And then went coast to coast.
Come on, man! Let's go! Hell yeah, coach! Hell yeah, coach! Hell yeah, coach!
Now deep in the heart of Texas, Notre Dame takes their dream season to an even bigger stage, literally.
When you walk in here, it's not bigger than it is. I mean, it hits you.
If this doesn't motivate you, I don't know what does.
What does motivate this team is the disrespect.
You know, on these big stages, we haven't won the game. I think that would be why. But, you know, I think we're positioned to have a little bit different outcome this week.
Would a win validate that Notre Dame's back on the national scene as a prominent powerhouse?
No, I think we are. You wouldn't be here unless we were on the national scene.
A question they finally hope to put to bed Saturday.
We got a really good opponent in Clemson. We know the challenge in front of us, but we're excited about it. And our goal has been to win a national championship and get back to that.
We want to show them what we've been doing this whole entire year, and you know, show them we're an elite offense and an elite team that belongs in the playoffs. And you know, we still got 2 more games to go to our end goal, but that's just what we want to show people, that we belong here.
Terry and Chuck will be back in 2 minutes to wrap up the countdown.
Well, just a few seconds left on this college football playoff edition of News Center 16's Countdown to Kickoff. And as we go, a look at just how much time you have to wait until the Cotton Bowl kicks off tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock South Bend time.
And the countdown will be here with you for the last half hour of that wait, so join us at 3:30. Leading up to the Irish and Tigers.
Now, the game's on ESPN, but we'll have post-game coverage for you online and a full recap and reaction tomorrow on News Center 16 at 11.
Hope to see you back here tomorrow. Until then, feel free to join us at 11 tonight. For Terry, Chuck, thanks for watching. So long, everybody.